Happy Feast Day, y'all. Today we're celebrating what I would consider at some points in their lives, they were two goofballs, right? I think so. But let me ask you something first. Have y'all ever had somebody hand you a key? A key to somebody's house, a key to their car, a key to their business? When they do that, this is something really important. They're giving you some access. They're giving you the ability to enter and access something that is really, really important to them. In today's gospel, we heard Jesus giving the keys of the kingdom of heaven to Peter. He gives him not just the keys to a house or a boat, he gives him the keys to heaven, to the kingdom of heaven. That's like giving the ultimate promotion. If we pay close attention to today's readings, we realize something very special. Jesus didn't give the keys to them. He didn't give the keys to someone that was perfect. He gave them to Peter. Peter and Paul were two totally different people. If I can be quite frank, they both started out as straight haters, no? They were against the church. They were both against the church. Peter, a fisherman, he was quick to act. One of my favorite stories of Peter is when he's able to walk on water, but for only a second because he loses faith. In our first reading today, though, we hear about Peter's time in jail. King Herod had just killed James, and afterwards turned his attention to Peter. Peter is locked up, and they had no intention of letting him out. But good for him, because God had other plans. Here he is locked up, guards everywhere, chains on his arms, yet his chains fell off and the doors opened. It was simple, but even Peter in this moment was almost like in a daze. He couldn't believe what was happening. He was set free, not because of anything that he did, but because God said he should be set free. God knew the plans he had in store for Peter, I think, which is why he had to be set free. Then we get to Paul. Paul was a scholar. He was passionate and intense. He was the one that used to literally hunt down the Christians. Both of these men were far from perfect. I myself can say that I am far from perfect. One denied Jesus 3 times, while the other held coats for the men who killed Stephen, the first martyr of the church. But look at God. Look at who God chose. God transformed them. They didn't do it on their own, but God transformed them. It's almost as if God looked at everything they had done in the past, everything that they'd done, and he thought, yep, these are my guys. These are who I'm going to choose. In today's second reading from the letter of Timothy, if you ever find yourself with a few extra seconds, this was like one of the quickest reads. It took me like 5 minutes. But anyways, in Paul's writing, Paul is writing to encourage Timothy. He wants us to use his life as an example. I love the image of a race. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. This is coming from Paul, who at one time had a very different view of the church. God changed that view too. God will change our hearts in ways and at times that we least expected. Are we remaining steadfast in our faith, even when things seem boring or slow or dull? Our jobs and our lives are so varying. We have good times, bad times. They're up and down. Some days are good, some days are bad. Some weeks, it may even seem like we're having more bad days than we're having good days. But can we honestly say that during those times that we're keeping our faith and relying on God? Or do we only have faith when things are going really super well for us? Our relationships are something that I think take work. I know for me, one of the choices that I make up every day when I wake up is to, one, I choose to wake up and be happy. But I have to wake up and choose to make my relationship with God a priority. I have to get up and remind myself, God's not going to talk to God's self. I have to talk to God. I have to give my worries, my fears, my doubts to God. St. Paul is not, in the second reading today, St. Paul's not bragging. No, I don't think he's bragging. All he's doing is giving the credit to God. He knows that it was never just him and his strength, that it was the Lord that stood right next to him. How many of us have looked back on times in our lives and thought to ourselves, God is literally the only reason why I'm here today? Now back to this key. When Jesus gives Peter this key, this is a moment of trust. Jesus wasn't just giving Peter the key to go and sit on a fancy throne and rule over people. No, he was giving him the key to unlock God's grace and mercy and love, to let other people in, to lead God's holy church. But here's the kicker. The key wasn't just given to Peter. The key was given to you, me, to everybody in here today. We may not have a big, beautiful key like this, but Jesus gives us keys in other ways in our lives. We have the key of compassion when somebody is struggling. Somebody needs to be listened to. We have the key of encouragement when somebody is struggling. We have the key of faith when people around us are doubting. We here today are the church. That means that we aren't just called to sit and watch and learn about the wonderful things that St. Peter and Paul did. We're called to do these wonderful things ourselves. These keys aren't just for us to keep to ourselves. They're here for everyone. Today, as we remember these two wonderful examples of faith, let Peter the rock and Paul the missionary, it's not just about their memories, it's about us accepting the same mission that they accepted. It's about us saying yes to God. Jesus is still asking us today, who do you say that I am? And Jesus is still handing out keys to the kingdom of heaven, not for those that are perfect, but for those that are faithful. This week, I pray that we're all able to open our minds and our hearts to the different encounters that we might have with God. Take Peter and Paul, they started one way. But in order for them to change, they had to encounter and accept the encounter with God. Brothers and sisters, all of us encounter God day in and day out. And I think it is our jobs as Christians to allow others to encounter God through us. And I pray that this week we all are able to encounter God and be a little more aware of